Let's talk about something we've discussed kind of anecdotally before, but not big picture. The TSA says that they have confiscated a record number of firearms from airline passengers at airports this year. And you might be shocked to know that only some of those confiscated firearms belonged to Republican Congressman Madison Cawthorn. So only a partial joke there. He actually did get caught trying to bring a firearm on board, getting it through security, trying to get it through security just a few months ago. Let's discuss the data. Passengers are bringing a record number of guns to the airport, TSA says. Airline passengers are bringing guns to the airport in numbers never seen before, and it is a, quote, huge problem. Security and law enforcement officials are at the same time dealing with an unprecedented surge in belligerent passengers, straining the systems designed to keep air travel safe. We've had more incidences where, don't they mean incidents? We've had many more incidences where there are passenger disturbances both in checkpoints and onboard aircraft. That makes it more important that there are no guns involved, says TSA Administrator David Pekoski. TSA reports catching 4,650 firearms at checkpoints in the first 10 months of the year, a majority of which were loaded, folks, loaded firearms in airports. That surpasses the full year record of 4,432 from 2019. So we've still got the rest of October, as well as November and December, and we're already several hundred firearms beyond the record. With 11 weeks left in the year, including the busy Thanksgiving and Christmas seasons, the number will reflect an American population that is increasingly armed. I think more people are carrying weapons just generally across the country, and then whatever is happening across the country, we see reflected in our checkpoints. As a passenger, I don't want another passenger flying with me with a gun in their possession. Yeah. The agency is also finding guns at a faster rate than it has ever experienced. During the lows of air travel, during the pandemic in 2020, transportation security officers confiscated a gun from about 10 passengers every 1 million. This year, they're finding 11 armed passengers in every 1 million. 80% of the firearms were found loaded. No checkpoint, no airport is immune from having passengers try to carry guns through the checkpoint. It does occur more frequently in, again, the states where gun carriage is at a higher rate compared to other states. You know, there are people who react to these stories. And in fact, Republican Congressman Madison Cawthorn said exactly this when he was caught. The explanation was, the justification was, it was an honest mistake. I didn't realize that the gun was in my carry-on. That is negligent action. If you don't know, what are the main things about firearms? Keep them unloaded, keep them safely stored, and know where they are. If you believe your gun is unloaded at home or unloaded in your checked baggage and it's actually loaded in your carry-on, that is negligence, and you shouldn't even have that firearm. The justification, the excuse that they use is actually something for which they should have the ability to have that firearm removed. If you can't keep track of where your loaded firearms are, you don't have any business owning a gun. Aside from anybody's views about the Second Amendment or background checks or whatever, when you say, oops, I didn't think the gun was in my carry-on, then you didn't know where it was. And that's negligence, and it's irresponsible gun ownership. Not knowing where your gun is. And it's a frequently used excuse, but it's not really an excuse. It should actually make us say, whoa, we've got to look into that more. The article goes on to say, firearm fines by TSA workers create an inconvenience for flyers during a time when more people are looking to travel again. Yeah, it's more than an inconvenience. It's actually a sort of an existential threat. Firearms, 80% loaded. Gun discoveries slow checkpoint lines, trigger a local or airport police response. Airline officials, meanwhile, are asking airport police to be proactive about spotting intoxicated or otherwise agitated passengers who may spark an in-flight disturbance. Yeah, we've talked about this as well. Those unruly passengers are also at previously unseen levels. It's sort of like a pandemic-induced psychosis that we're seeing. It's wild what is happening at airports. How many times have I flown during the pandemic? I guess 3 round trip flights. And all of the stuff I saw at the US airports, part of it was at international airports. Everything I saw at US airports, there was wacky behavior. And this is, by the way, beyond just people playing fast and loose with the mask rules, like holding a glass the entire flight to be in the process of drinking and keeping their mask down, stuff like that. I'm talking about just belligerent people, drunk people, loud people, people screaming. It's not good. It's not good what's going on. And certainly adding firearms to that mix would only make it much, much worse. One of our sponsors is Cometeer Coffee, the world's first frozen coffee. I've been very impressed with the coffee I've had from Cometeer. Cometeer sources their beans from some of the world's best locally owned specialty roasters. And the Cometeer team has developed their own way of protecting the freshness and aroma of the coffee by taking its concentrated liquid form and flash freezing it so it keeps those original flavors and nuances. Cometeer comes to you frozen. You just add hot water. Or for iced coffee, you just melt it. You can use it to make a ton of different hot and cold coffee drinks. The way they lock in the flavor like this, you really can taste it. It tastes fresh. I've been getting a ton of enjoyment out of Cometeer. They've got a great variety of coffees. It's delicious. The way you make it is super convenient. And you'll get $20 off when you go to cometeer.com/Pacman. The link is underneath this video.